Hey everyone, how we doing today? This is James Sweeney, aka SplitSuit, and welcome back to another video. And as part of the Ask SplitSuit a Question series, a bunch of people asked hand history questions, and this one actually came privately via Facebook. And Danny just wants me to review this tournament hand he thought was very interesting. I think it's kind of interesting as well, so let's check it out. Okay, so in this hand, we are playing a tournament. There are 4 people left. We are currently chip leader, and the blinds are 8,000, 16,000 with a 1,600 ante. There is a fold. Button decides to rip it for about 16 big blinds, and here we are. And this is Danny's major question, and obviously this is the only question left in the hand, is simply, do we get it in here, or do we not get it in here? Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that I am a cash game player. As a cash game player, I look at this situation, I say someone is shoving for 16 big blinds. Do I think I have enough equity given the pot odds? And in this situation, given the pot odds, I would need 46% equity to break. If I have more than that, I call. So as a cash game player, that's as far as I need to think. It's really easy and lovely that way. As a tournament player, however, you have all these other fun things that you have to consider. You have to consider payouts, you have to consider if you were to fold, what would happen. If you were to call and win, how good would that be or not be? If you call and lose, how good or bad would that not be? Go from there. So this is a situation where, as a cash game player, you would simply just pull out Aqualab, you'd plug in your hand, you'd plug in a range of hands for the big blind, and let's just say in this situation you thought he would shove something like, I don't know, this, fine, okay, a valet. Again, we need 46% equity, we have 51, we would get it in here. And even more so if we thought this person were shoving wider than this. I mean, this is only 17% of hands. If you realistically thought they were shoving like 30%, your equity only goes higher and higher. Pretty easy, right? Now, as a tournament player, not so easy. Now all of a sudden we have to use this fun little thing called ICM, and when I was preparing for my WSOP events, this is something that I spent a lot of time and effort with because it's very important, and there's tournament situations that cash game players will just never see, and ICM is going to help you when you're making these MTT decisions. So when you're using something like Poker Tracker 4, you get this fun little button when you're reviewing a tournament hand called ICM. And we can just click it, and it will tell us what we're supposed to do based on the independent chip model. So in this situation, I plugged in the prizes. First prize is 511, second prize is 341, third place is 194, and the last one, I forget, it's like 112 or something like that. But down here, it tells us exactly what we're supposed to be doing with Ace Jack. And what this is doing is it's keeping in mind what your chips are worth and what the value of keeping those chips versus, God forbid, calling and losing those chips would do for you. So in this situation, it looks like this is going to be a fold. Now, if we click in here to results and we start poking around in the ICM a little bit, what we can do is say, okay, well, what if in this situation he were shoving loose and the big blind were calling loose? I don't do this for all of them. Say very loose, very loose. And you notice it's still a fold. This is just a situation where we're risking too many chips for not enough upside. So in this situation, we should fold, and if we fold, then the big blind is put in a decision, and okay, he'll do his thing. And then also think about it. If we fold here, the big blind is going to get hit with another blind in the next hand, and the cutoff starts getting hit with the big blinds, right? So like the big blind and the cutoff here are just going to be feeling pressure nonstop for the next couple of hands, and this is just a situation where we don't have to call here. In fact, if we're messing around with the ICM, we can actually come down here. You can't see it because it's just off the screen, but say we had like ace queen suited, it's still a fold. It doesn't become a call until ace king suited. So again, this is something that as a tournament player, you need to understand ICM, and you need to mess around with this stuff a ton of the time to get really comfortable and familiar with where your ICM inflection points. In this situation, it's not going to be a good situation for us to get it in here with just ace jack. Again, it's not a get it in until we have ace king, and it's only something you'd find out by either doing the math a ton or by using an ICM calc. And again, you have one of those built into Poker Tracker 4, which makes it even better. So Danny, to answer your question, I know you actually, so when Danny sent this hand in, he gave a tremendous amount of thought, and it was giving range breakdowns and all that. And unfortunately, all that work is kind of wasted simply because it's just simply an ICM decision. In cash games, yeah, it's going to be more, straight up range decision and just run the math. Whereas in a tournament, it's a little bit different. You have to really think about what your chips are worth, think about stack preservation and what your tournament chips are going to do for you in the future. And in this situation, this is just a fold, get out and watch the big blind and the cutoff. Have a lot of fun facing that pressure over the next couple of orbits as the blinds just keep creeping up and keep smashing them and running their chip stacks down to nothing. And for what it's worth, for those of you that really love to see the results, Hero did end up calling, ended up getting it in against pocket fours, and unfortunately ended up losing this hand. And again, this is just one of those things where when we lose, now we are the bottom chip stack, and now we're going to be the ones facing pressure in two hands when the big blind comes right back on us. So again, this is all stuff we can proof off the table, work with an ICM calculator enough of the time until the stuff starts to become ingrained, and all of a sudden tournaments become much easier. So Danny, thanks for the great question, and if you or anyone else has a poker related hand or question, feel free to leave it on our Google Plus page. Leave a link for that in the description box, and also please make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this type of video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Otherwise, good luck out there, and happy grinding.